Welcome to your magic moon message for the moon in Scorpio, sun in Sagittarius. This is activation of light, and this balsamic phase is the darkness before we activate this new perspective, aka a new vision. Um, Cancer is your individual feelings, and Pisces is a collective belief that takes into account a universal sense of maybe even almost every belief that's ever been had. So Scorpio in between are shared beliefs, the way I feel about things, or shared feelings, the way I feel about things, the way you feel about things, the way our feelings clash because we have different feelings, or may grow deeper intimacy because there is alignment with said feelings. So this is what leads towards trust and transformation, in the psychological nature of shared emotions that could be very intense and chaotic. This is what lends to the Plutonian theme of the unconscious, but also, especially relative to Pluto in Aquarius, you awakening at a deeper subconscious level the wisdom and psychological understanding of how your psyche interfaces with other frequencies, all of which are intangible and unseen, but true to the water sign of Scorpio, you still feel. This is where mechanics of shame manipulation and guilt manipulation from others come from, as Scorpio is a social zodiac sign. So it is interfacing your individuality with the pressure of other wills socially to either break yours, hence transformation, or for you to break and transform through their will. Okay, basically, if you're a weak ass bitch, you're going to crumble to the pressure. But if you're not, you're going to break through and transform. And pressure like this comes because of the singular ability of you to purport and exalt your own individuality and authenticity in the sense that is going to rub off certain groups of people, while also, you know, connecting stronger with certain groups of people. All right. So the subconscious 330 to 360-degree angle may make others around you big mad, especially when they realize that you stand on the values of what it is you are speaking, doing, believing, and relative to the Sagittarius sun vision, seeing. And so the release and transcendence of this 12th house is clearing the field you planted the new mood seeds on before, of course, you plant new seeds. Most people are weak, broken, stupid. And I'm not talking about individuals, like individuals one on one, everyone is unique. The sacrifice and compromise of individuality, when we start to think in a hive mind or group think, is really responsible for, why mad people are fucking dumb. That being said, when I say that, that's not my own individual thought. Most people will tell you the same thing. And that's not to put people down. That's to maintain your own authenticity and not let dumb people stop you from thinking and doing what is authentically you, because weak-willed people need affirmation and confirmation for others to know who they are, which does not necessarily apply with you. And this is what, of course, brings such conflicts up into the fold. I'm mainly talking about conflicts because Uranus is in an opposing angle with the moon, which is squaring Pluto, bringing energy that aligns with you stronger together, but conflicting with you stronger resisting. And when it comes to energy, the stronger will wins, or the stronger energy wins. And that's what's going to have you be revealed. The weak will and the lack of integrity that will have people justify the way that they feel. Many people forget that just because you have a good reason or a noble reason to do something, it doesn't necessarily excuse or really give you the onus to move forward with things you're doing out of integrity. And so if somebody puts you in your place or smokes you because of it, that's really literally just karma, and vice versa. If you're dealing with somebody that is personally, or and when I say somebody, it's going to be really groups of people, like a sentiment or feeling. If someone is really blind or in denial about the nature of their actions or behavior, it's a transit like this where we're dissolving unconscious habits, and you're coming into a psychoanalytical, psychological Scorpio moon understanding of now how your Sagittarius sun vision must transcend, must change to align with where you're going. This is going to disillusion a lot of people when they realize, out of the echo chamber they may be stuck in, that they really don't see things in the light of what it really is. And you have a bunch of people in general in this life who will be more content with the idea of who they see you're supposed to be, of who they want you to be in their box, versus who you really are. And of course, such people are delusional. And a transit like this is going to really reveal how you aligning with the integrity of your beliefs, Moon trine Saturn in Pisces, aids in where you're adjusting this vision, versus if you're stuck in delusions, how that holds you back. You just don't want to mistake that for the voice of peer pressure that pressures you to change because you're taking actions that make them uncomfortable relative to their comfort zone. And as such, you're going to come into a, once again, detailed psychoanalytical understanding of the nature of frequency projections, psychic attacks. And for those of you who've been doing the work, shout out to Infinity Gang, shout out to y'all, shout out to anybody watching this, you're going to see with the Sag Sun that you have a form of immunity to this. That didn't come out of nowhere. You painstakingly ingrained this into your psyche since March. Okay, so the moon that's going to be trining Neptune and Saturn is going to connect with that. Whereas, you know, those who really have no integrity and they get their way by manipulating, shaming people, calling people names, because you have to call someone a name when you really don't know what you're saying. So like a child, you just kind of thrust that. This is personally what will really just end up, let me not even just say the word expose because I feel like it's overused. Let's say reveal. It's going to really end up revealing a whole lot of the psychological process behind such beliefs, but it's also going to reveal how, you know, one never had integrity in the first place. And I must stress, I'm talking about, when I'm talking about name calling, I'm talking about in general. I'm talking about like when the beings, the passive aggressiveness, the acting as if you're concerned, but you're using that as a veil to try and influence and manipulate. The moon in Scorpio is going to reveal all of this, because behind that seek to manipulate is weakness, is somebody who's losing control and feels like they need to engage in this to operate accordingly. Just stupidity. So the sextile to Venus in Capricorn is going to be making a 300-degree angle, and now aligning this psychoanalytical understanding with the polishing of how your heart is gaining more integrity, organization, and potencia. And Mercury's retrograde, so, you know, there's just a lot of wild stuff being said that, you know, regardless, is probably going to be taken back or will either create more miscommunication. But if you remember that with it square to Neptune and Saturn, as long as you maintain integrity of your beliefs, that's going to influence more what you say or not. And it's okay to be a bit wild within reason, especially opposite Jupiter and Gemini, which is going to, of course, continue to align with the evolution of your thoughts. Now, the moon opposite Uranus in Taurus enables you to harvest, since 2 weeks, a psychoanalytical understanding of how you're transforming the unconventionality of your own value and how you express your senses, with which you'll be subliminally and indirectly coming into understanding of the effects and the nature of just your energy, and how, without having to say anything, anything. It could drive people mad. It could drive people crazy. It could drive people to start attacking you, or it could drive people to start supporting you because they connect deeply with it. Just be very mindful. Be mindful of what people's energy are saying versus what they are saying. And there's a sense of eccentricity, there's a sense of almost deviancy outside of the traditional norm of what is commonly done and practiced in society that many of you will thrive in standing on, because most people are weak and they're going to give into that peer pressure. God forbid a whole bunch of other people have a problem or think what they do is creepy, weird, nothing they've ever seen before, versus, actual individuals who don't give a fuck about that shit, and they will stand on it because they have their own sense of integrity around it, whether it makes sense to other people or not. Look at me, whether it makes sense to other people or not. So you don't want to really waste time trying to argue and make sense of things to people who hallucinate 99% of their conscious experience. We didn't come here to argue about who's right or wrong. Live your experience and make sure it is aligned with whatever integrity you wish to stand on. That's literally the whole Saturn and Pisces lesson. All right. Because if you allow that outside influence with the squares and oppositions to trick you out of your position, then you have to ask yourself, what is it you were hoping for that you think is outside of yourself, you felt you can gain, where you already are operating in it? And anyone who is secure in themselves, anyone who really has got it like that, would not even be bringing these things up or would be bothered by these things. So just be mindful of who's minding their business and who is minding your business, trying to get involved and make things more important than they even are. Here's where it gets good though. We're activating supernatural magic with this new moon in Sag, and then wrapping your brain around it with the Mercury retrograde. So there are going to be deep, insightful, and yes, dare I say it, supernatural revelations that will take unconscious facets of your habits and a way you see yourself to release, so that you can replace this with a new vision moving forward with the new moon in Sagittarius. Trust, fists are being punched in the air because there is a certain effect that is supposed to be taken on you that's not working because you've actually done the inner work. You haven't spiritually bypassed and try to act like things look okay when they're not okay. So people are not going to be getting a reaction from you that they want and feel like something's wrong when everything is Gucci, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And don't get caught up in manipulative games from people, which could be very possible, especially given the Scorpio quality of this transit. Be willing to change and adjust your perspective. That's what a balsamic phase is. People who can't let go, in this case, you're going to be letting go of a way you thought something was supposed to look like. And if you're too attached to it, then you're pretty much saying that whatever that thing is more important than you. But just release it, because trust me, this new moon in Sagittarius is going to show you got options. And things look way better than you could have originally thought. And that's why you have to be okay as you are leveling up, transforming, and ascending, to let go with maybe a previous belief so that we can step into this next cycle and you will begin to really see how much you've leveled up and grown. Don't forget, for those of you in integrity, for those of you doing the work, bro, the angels got you, fam. Like, please, I hope none of you are actually worried, especially by weird threats from other people. Angels got your back. And you're going to see evidence of this as well, which is going to change the way you continue to peer into the metaphysical, despite being limited by physical senses. All right. Y'all stay blessed as always. And until next time, peace. I still have my 50% off sale, by the way. So for those of you who would like a reading, just go to my website. It's going to be automatically 50% off. And for those of you who experience paranormal activity on this day or tomorrow, you are not alone. You're actually being selected and initiated to travel deeper upon the yin path Just, remember, it's a path of secrecy.